But anyway, we'll shuffle on now to something which you wanted to cover, Culture. That's right. You wanted to cover this. I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay. That was not the best. I'm having major StreamYard issues, so this is going to be a good time.
Oh,
but no, I think we've seen that the.
Okay, and on this issue of your favorite podcast, Week in the Numbers on Movie Cinema, we have the numbers, normally presented by Culture Casino, who currently is
Can you make it in big end?
Yeah, this is really small.
You froze.
All right,
Culture.
well, you should have shared it yourself then, shouldn't you, Culture?
Yeah,
no, I was going to try and read it for him, but yeah, no.
No, it's seriously on StreamYard. I am like at least 30 seconds behind you guys' video.
I don't know what's going on with
Really?
your shit. He had the same problem yesterday.
With the release date of September
Wow.
6th, The Nun 2 has a breathtaking worldwide 90,347 worldwide gross, with the domestic U.S. stateside of 34,947, shocking the industry and holding up to what many people thought is a fantastic cinematic universe in terms of a franchise. The Nun 2 doing fantastic at the box office and basically kicking everybody else to the curb.
Look at all those sequels that are coming out. We got Curse of the Nun, Nuns on the Run, The Bad Nun. No, not.
Oh my God, I thought you were actually being serious then. I mean, this is surprising. I didn't even so this is new to me. I didn't bother to look into box office this weekend.
Well, the Conjuring universe is actually something that I think Tom is correct in saying that it's actually a franchise, and I think that they're probably one of the last ones. But disappointingly, this is still tracking behind the original film.
Is it?
Yeah, not by much, not by a huge amount, but when you look at chart them next to each other 4 days in, the original Nun 4 days in was at 57,331,000 just in domestic alone. So it's charting about 20 million behind.
Well, why did they release it so early? Like,
I don't know. I know they were trying to position it before a Halloween, and there is competition around Halloween, so that might have been it.
Not really. You've got they moved out The Exorcist. They
didn't know that.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, they did.
No, but I mean, they didn't know that in advance.
But who cares? That was early on anyway. That was going to be releasing on like the 13th or something. They're releasing it a week earlier. You could have just released this closer to Halloween.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
I can't fight with you there, Nate. I'm
not asking you to fight with me, Culture. Whoa.
No, there's just like I said.
Doing it this way though, Nate, they can get it on video on demand and shit before.
Oh, that's also true.
Oh, that's true.
But
maybe
I think
maybe that's.
I think global performance for this film is going to put it right in line with the previous movie. I mean, you'll get in the $300 million category, and I think that's all they're aiming for here.
Well, I think what's so funny about this opening weekend domestic gross has already beaten out. Well, in its first weekend, it beat out The Flash.
Yep.
It beat out Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Take your pick for other films. Like, how on earth does this happen? Those legacy films doing terribly by comparison, or legacy characters in them, especially Indiana Jones, doing terribly by comparison to this.
Well, because The Conjuring's a very flourishing franchise, as Culture was just pointing out. The Nun come out at a time when there's not really anything sitting out there for competition. The thing that surprised me most was the dump that Equalizer 3 took, especially with the good word of mouth that film's had. Because I think it only managed to muster up like 12 million this weekend or something like that. What was it, Culture?
Yeah.
That's horrible. It should have done that on Friday.
Yeah, that's a shame. That was a bloody good film, that was. Culture's dipped out. He's going to pop.
Fuck off, Culture.
Golly, Tom.
Now we can talk about the good shit. No, he's been having computer problems like the last 2 days. Poor guy.
It's not the computer. It's the StreamYard. But anyway,
StreamYard or whatever.
No, it's because you're rendering your videos for your channel and while you're on the live stream.
I'm not rendering anything, Mikey. I can show you the desktop right now.
Oh my God!
Whoa! All right.
Whoa!
Guys, chill your beans. What? Anyway, Nun, funny. bizarre that it's done as well as it has. I would say.
I think the only thing that's going to be successful, or at least is a built-in, baked-in audience, is always going to be horror. I mean, we've talked about that forever, but I think that that's the only thing they're going to be able to count on.
Well, I think this will signify to the studios what we've been saying for a while anyway, to make more horror, low-budget horror. Do it, do it.
And don't spend so much money. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing. Horror, it costs nothing. And then you can make loads of money off of it. That's why.
This one might cost him something, though. I don't know if you heard about that.
No? What?
The star is suing because they've been using her likeness and they haven't been paying her.
What?
This is a hot story. I'd love it if we could talk about this, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, let me bring it up here.
What? The star of The Nun?
Yep.
Uh-huh. This is right up my alley in terms of financial stuff. I think this is a hot take or hot news.
She's in it.
Yeah. And she is claiming that Warner Brothers has not been paying her for her likeness.
Oh, right. So additional payments.
Like for toys and all that kind of stuff.
Talk about tiny. That's fucking tiny. I look. I can't read that, Tom.
I know, right? That's horrible. Let me fix that here. Hang on.
Jesus. I don't remember seeing this chap in The Nun.
I know, it's a stupid video. I had to pause. The Nun star Bonnie Aaron sues Warner Brothers. She alleges the company shorted her share of merchandising revenue. And now a lot of people are like, can't believe there'd be a lot. Oh, you'd be surprised how many Nun figures and shit there are.
Really?
Yes. In fact, I think I might even have one just because I bought this. They have these series called Tiny Terrors, and they're cartoon versions of horror film characters. Basically look like they would be in a Scooby-Doo episode. So you got Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, a whole bunch. She's one of them too. I might even have them because they originally came out in 4-packs. So I might even have one of hers. Anyway, they got a NECA figure and some other ones, but yeah.
You scroll down. Let's so what's this then? So this is the person who plays the Nun.
Yeah, the Nun star Bonnie Aaron's is suing Warner Brothers for loss of earnings relating to merchandising. The actor played the titular character in the 2018 horror film and will reprise her role in the upcoming sequel, but has accused the production company of shorting her share of merchandising revenue. As per the report, Aarons was paid $71,500 for her role in The Nun, with her contract including a $175,000 bonus tied to box office performance.
That's chump change.
That is chump fucking change. And you're right. In box office performance, on top of share profits from merchandise exploiting her character. The complaint against Warner, so yeah, that's the actual lady there. The complaint against Warner Brothers and New Line and Scope Production claim that instead of accounting and paying in a transparent fashion, Warner Brothers obscures and hides the true amount of Miss Aaron's rightful share of merchandising revenues, all while continuing to exploit her. Her contract reportedly granted her a pro rata share of 5% of 50% of the gross receipts from the merchandising rights. The actor alleges that her share was inconsistent with the extensive merchandising activities. Warner Brothers has yet to respond. So yeah, that just goes on that she's going to be in the sequel. She goes, I wouldn't want to give anything away, but this is continuing the timeline. She said, blah, 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 talking about the movie. This is just, so nothing else about that. But that's the basic.
Then, Mikey. Yeah.
Well, to me, from a financial standpoint, I just find this absolutely ridiculous because we're talking about a paltry sum of money. You can't really deny from a Warner Brothers standpoint that this property is making money. I just put in the link in the private side. There's a ton of action figures. I know I have cousins that have them, and I just think that this just shows how truly petty financial that a lot of these studios can be. I mean, and then if we go back to that graphic we had up a minute ago, it shows that they've got other releases for other non-related movies that are coming up going forward. And this lady made a deal, and it was on at the time when the production was on a shoestring budget, and they probably didn't think it would amount to much. And now they're so busy on they're so busy as a studio now making the big money with the productions, they've forgotten about the little people that they need to take care of. You know, the same thing happened with Kurtzman at Paramount when he got the Star Trek deal. There were props people that didn't get paid, and he was off worrying about his other Star Trek Discovery and pitching other 31s and other crap. This happens a lot, and as someone who's done post-production accounting, I don't do it anymore, but I did for a long time in West LA. you know, we would see this where we would get phone calls in the accounting office from people that had certain deals sometimes, so that, you know, they would be part of a project, and then when something took off, all of a sudden they were forgotten about. And in this case, we're not talking. I mean, we're literally talking about pennies on the dollar. You know, in the big scheme of thing, you know,
nothing to
whether
Warner
it's a few
Brothers.
dollars or a few quid, however you want to look at it, it's nothing. It's really nothing. And the fact that she had to find an attorney to do this is silly, because what they're trying to do, from where I sit, is that they're trying to axe her out so that there won't be any basis for anything going forward the bigger this thing goes. And that's just really, I think that's very disingenuous, and, you know, according to this contract that she probably has, illegal.
Well, I mean, it is, isn't it? I mean, that's why she's sued. She's like, oh, hold on a minute, what are you doing? Give me my money. Like, what's happening with this? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's no surprise that studios do this. Warner Brothers.
I was gonna say, this sounds a lot like what we've been hearing out of Disney too.
Well, I was going to say, this is no surprise. I'm not surprised by this when it comes to Disney, because Disney are renowned for this. They weren't paying authors and things like that. Warner Brothers, I am surprised with, because, I mean, they're very quick to give out a whole bunch of money. They were really quick to do it all through COVID, when they took stuff from theaters and just chucked it straight on HBO Max. They gave out a lot of money at that point. So I am surprised from Warner Brothers' side of things. But yeah, not good. Not good at all.
Well, and I mean, I guess this is the kind of situation where we can understand why the actors are on strike. This is a really successful film. I don't see why she's not making at least $1 million after the fact, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get up front, but I mean, if the movie does well, why isn't she the main, you know, character in this movie? Kind of. I mean, she may not be the main actor, but she's
the horror icon.
Exactly my point. Like, I mean, how can you not keep that? Like, that just, to me, that sits bad.
Well, it's like not paying Robert Englund, right?
Exactly. I was going to say, it's kind of what they ran into with Nightmare 2. They didn't want to pay him, and then they realized that nobody else can do what Robert Englund does. You know, I mean, maybe she can be replaced. I don't know, but I don't know. Good luck finding somebody who has those kind of looks.
But also, you can't, because that's still a likeness. She could argue that it's based on her. They'd have to significantly change the
They would, exactly, because then that goes back to the whole Back to the Future 2 bit. But yeah, no, you guys are right, and I feel like this is one of those cases where she is completely in the right. Now, maybe she could have negotiated a bit of a better contract, but that's not what she's arguing. She's arguing that she's not being paid what she's owed. And this is one of my favorite things I always talk about, and that is movie math is the most amazing math in the world, and I know Mikey loves it, because it all depends on who's asking. If it's somebody who they know they may owe money to, well, then it didn't make a goddamn dime. It was the biggest flop in the history of Hollywood ever. But if it's the press or somebody they want to impress, then of course it's the biggest hit of all time. It made more money than all the monies in the world. But yeah, when they got to pay you, if there's any chance they might owe you some money, God forbid. No way. They'll make you take them to court before they ever do any of that, because they'll try to bleed your ass dry. And somebody like her, she probably can't afford to be taking Warner Brothers to court at this point, but she feels she strongly has a case, I bet.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, she does. I mean, I reckon this. Yeah. It would be interesting to follow this and see what happens.